or All right. The June 11th, 2026 Southwest Virginia Higher Education Center Trustees meeting. Like to welcome everyone, and I would like to also ask those on Zoom or on the phone to keep the lines muted unless you are speaking. I think we have. IT's working on it. Testing, there we go. One quick fix. All right, I would like to now call upon our secretary, Olivia Bailey, to do a roll call.
Okay, I'm here. Delegate Jason Ballard. Ron Blair,
I'm here.
Madison Brown,
Here.
April Crabtree.
Here.
Oh, Madison Brown, sounds good. Amy Merrill, here. Hilda Petria,
Here.
Dennis Carter,
Here.
Senator Howard,
Here.
Adam Hutchison,
Here.
Gary Johnson,
Here.
Scott Kemp,
Here. Here.
Sarah Jane Kirkland, here. Bear Lloyd,
Here.
Susan Mayhew,
She is running a few minutes late.
Allison Mays, here. Rachel Miller,
Here.
Keith Urgent.
Here. Oh, she's here.
Yeah, he knows how to make an entrance. Senator Pillion,
Here. I'm not sure.
Delegate Rasul. Delegate Sewell,
Here.
Donna Stanley,
Here.
Sophie Chapin Vance.
She is at a Virginia Foundation thing.
and we do have a quorum.
All right, thank you, the secretary. And now we will go on to the approval of the December 11th, 2025 minutes. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. And I will abstain. I'm just not affecting. That's the right. I'll abstain. We have three abstentions. I missed that.
Okay, great.
All right, we also have item number 4, acknowledgement of the reappointed board members, which was delegates Ballard, Carr, Rasul, Sewell, and they were reappointed in May. And then we have the executive director's report. Turn over to David.
Thank you, Senator Hackworth. Well, welcome to the Southwest Virginia Higher Education Center. A great place doing great things because of great people. And, you know, I really, before I say anything today, I want to acknowledge all these fine team members to my right. Go and stand. You know, no matter what we're going to talk about, go ahead and stand. Because no matter what we're talking about today, and that includes Leanne and Chief, everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
No matter what happens today, or what you've read about in your packet, it was probably done by one of these people. So I want to say thank you. Thank you. You got it figured out there?
Some odds happen. I apologize.
You know, this is the smartest man from Honig. So that's his tagline. You tell me when. Tell me when. You know, this is the smartest man from Honig. Try it.
Instead of millions of words, we're hearing your voice once, was it not?
Okay,
I think a lot of people would agree with that. Yes, how about that? Are we good? Check 1, 2. Are we live? What, and when I play my video, do we need to turn the volume back up?
We'll see.
Okay. Well, normally at the summer meeting, I try to get some students and we bring some students and some faculty members in to talk about some of the great things happening here. And there was just so many great things happening. We just took some video clips. So you're going to hear from several faculty members. You're going to hear from several students, 30 seconds here, 15 seconds here. We put together 3 different little videos. And so we'll talk about that. I just want to hit a couple of the highlights. All-day meeting, but we're going to try to keep this as quick as possible. First thing I'd like to highlight over the last 6 months, many of you were here back in March when we had the grand opening for our regional simulation lab, and that is a lab that allows us to do multiple institutions and multiple disciplines. And since as of May 31st, it's about 400 unduplicated heads, but we processed a little over 1,100 total learners. And we have supported everything from our K-5 STEM Academy all the way through our doctoral students in anesthesia, and as well as our nurse practitioner students. Now, recently, our most frequent users have been Dr. Hutchinson, your students with VHC, EMT Basic, and EMT Advanced courses. I'm going to show you a quick video. Matthew, since you're standing there, I'll hit this. Okay. She kind of runs the simulation area, and so she's overseeing that. We stole her from
George Mason.
George Mason. Yeah, I was thinking, it's George Mason in here. Yeah. It's gonna chase the street, but she's been with us a little over a year now. And Joy sitting to her left. Joy and I started this journey when we hired Joy to be our grant writer. Joy, you can stand up. You can stand up, Joy. When we went through the interview process to hire a new grant writer, I said, Joy said, what's success look like? I said, Joy, we have been working on a regional simulation lab concept, and here's what I need you to do in the first 90 days. And Joy was very successful. That was about a $1.8 million project. And we put together a team. There were some grants, there were some local donations. So I just want to point out two of the people that have a lot to do with that. Of course, and Alicia, you stand up. Alicia pays all the bills. So we couldn't do it without Alicia. So, and then James is in the foundation. James, Larry, I'll get to you in a minute. So that's the team that's had a lot to do with all that. And I hope I don't leave anybody out. But that's one of the highlights I wanted to share with you today. I know that Dennis Carter's here from Emory-Henry University. Many of you are very aware that we partnered with Emory-Henry University, Virginia Highlands Community College, Whitfield Community College, City of Bristol, Washington County, Smith County, and Wythe County for a governor's lab school. And this past year, we had 81 seniors. So those students are coming here. For those that aren't familiar with, those students come here in the morning, and then they go back to their home school in the afternoon. We have 60 sophomores selected for next year's class. And here's some of the things that they do. They got over 2,800 hours in shadowing time. Most of the students who graduated this year participated in at least 17 different surgeries. Some of them saw C-sections. Some of them did heart catheterizations, hip replacement, knee replacements, shoulder replacements. You'll hear about colonoscopies in just a second. Again, we want to thank Emory-Henry and VHCC for their partnership in that. And that's a program that is growing. And so, Matthew, you do what you need to do and I'll hit play, okay? Does that work? That work? There we go. There we go. Weeks ago up on the campus of Emory-Henry, and I invite you all to come back sometime and shadow that and watch those students in action. It's a really good program, and those programs are all designed to push students in a faster pace into our allied health professions. I can thank Senator Pillion. We had multiple of our students are attending University of Virginia next year, and so thank you for your help with that. So I'll continue. I just want to highlight a couple of these. The things that I'm highlighting aren't necessarily in your packet. A few things are, but we also have the A. Linwood Holton Governor School here, and that's a synchronous school. We have people teaching in different classrooms, broadcasting to 18 different school districts. We partner with 4 different community colleges. So on any given day, you can walk up here in the hallways and we're broadcasting to 37 high schools. This past semester, we had 770 students and awarded 5,560 college credits. And for those who aren't familiar with the program, the college credit is awarded by their zip code to a corresponding community college, Southwest Mountain Empire, Whitfield, or Virginia Highlands, depending on their jurisdiction. We also have Virginia Cooperative Extension here, and that's a big producer of a lot of activity. They do everything from pesticide education to honeybee production. The master cattlemen's come in here all the time. They host a lot of financial management classes for our farmers. And last year they tracked a little over 7,500 different citizens, unduplicated heads that were served here in the center by their efforts. And that's over the last 12 months. We also have the Mount Rogers Adult Education. They came on board here in 2017. This past semester, they had 330 students. Unlike the K-12 system where we're in Region 7, in adult education, we're in Region 3. They serve 6 counties and 2 cities. And one of the things they do, much like dual enrollment while you're in high school, you're getting dual enrollment credit while you're working your high school degree. It's a very similar workforce dual enrollment program with VHCC. While these students are working on their GED, they're enrolled in either precision machining. These are the top 6: precision machining, diesel mechanic, electrical technology, healthcare, HVAC, and plumbing. Hannah, would you like to stand up? Anybody else in your division here today, Hannah? No. Hannah oversees our conference services division, and we had about 55,000 people so far. We got more things happening, but as of today, around 55,000 people, revenue of about $250,000. She had 1,872 bookings. And so we do have a survey. Everybody that uses our building, we send out a survey, electronic survey. And as you can see, her satisfaction rating is a 4.9 out of 5. So lots of good compliments there from the region on that. Sonia is not here with us today, but we have a division here we call it educational outreach. And we host a lot of field trips, and then we go out into schools and we do a lot of things. Since January to June, we served 2,100 students. We have hosted our K-5 STEM Academy. We graduated 76 students this fall. And then, of course, our college older adults had 285. As stated here, we posted the Kid Win competition in the spring. Here's some of the places that we go all over, from Tazewell County to Lee County. We have a van. We load up the robots. We load up the drones, and we take these things in. We do curriculum development and help the teachers that may not have the resources. You know, EO does a really good job, but to use their things, you've got to drive from Lee County to Abington. You've got to drive from Richlands to Abington. You've got to drive from Chilhowee to Abington. No, we're mobile. What Sonia does with her team is they take and we go to them, and it's been very successful. And as you can see, about 2,100 students were introduced to coding in just in the last 6 months, a little over 4,000 for the entire year. Karen, your turn again. In your packet, in the very back, Karen's been doing an ongoing study, and that's one of the reasons why we brought her in initially when we stole her from George Mason. Karen, you want to just tell them what you've been doing?
So with the Health Workforce Partnership, honestly, the SID lab has taken a little more priority this spring. I was revamped that a bit over the summer. We worked with ETSU. They had a doctor of public health to do strategic planning with them to be a partner for real life experience with students. So they did draft a strategic plan. It's about 100 pages. You have a very, very high level summary of that 100-page as a review that has not necessarily been vetted by the partnership with local people. Sometimes they did a great job, but they were still students, and there were some things that you can see being still in it and fix and tweak a little bit. But that will get into. We're going to work on more formalizing the steering committee and formalizing the partnership over the summer and fall. So any suggestions of who you think could be a good person on that steering committee, please let me know. We'll be reaching out to them over the next month. We were able to award 3 $2,500 regional scholarships. Claude Moore Opportunities puts up the first 2,500. The region is responsible to find a match. Wellspring Foundation of Southwest Virginia graciously did that match. So then Claude Moore adds a second scholarship on top of that. So those 3, one of those is going to be at least in the Wellspring counties, and then the other 2, we look at they have a rubric, but we also try to make sure it's from different areas of our 13 county region. We don't want to all concentrated. And then the Rural Health Transformation Initiative, a lot of y'all may be familiar, maybe not. Still can really engage and have weekly calls about that. There, I know, Hutchinson, congratulations too, but they were awarded the first grant from the Rural Health Transformation in Virginia to expand their LPN program. The other implementation partners that we identified, we're still waiting to hear whether RFAs will be available. They haven't had a hard time. We know the funds will start October, I believe, right after the very first. And it runs for a year, but there's a lot of opportunity for Southwest Virginia to get some funding and some stability in healthcare pipeline and workforce. So much that's so new here. We're just keeping an eye on when those RFAs are out, who's eligible, what they would look like. But we have been very involved in that process, submitting ideas and proposals to the state of Oklahoma so that when they write those RFAs, they can see some ideas of so, ideas of projects already available that we're thinking of in our region. And maybe they'll keep those in mind to make sure that they're not missing any gaps of potential projects that we easy ones for the region. So that's quick summary there, dude.
Over the last year, Karen, her team, we've hosted 4 regional mini summits, town hall meetings. We've had anywhere from 50 to 75 health professionals, from dentists to surgeons to nurses, doctors. They all come in, and we're just trying to figure out where we're at as a region, and that data is all inside that 100-page report. And at some point, we'll be able to release that to everybody. You think?
Yeah, I just said visually. I just don't want to print out 100 pages.
Yeah, we didn't want to put 100 pages. We didn't kill a lot of trees, so we'll get that to you.
And I provide more and more data. We work with George Mason with their health, the Center of Health. I'm like on that for a second, but they have a big data system that they work with each region of the Virginia regions to provide relevant health workforce data. And so we are working with them to get more and then ground truth that to what our regional partners are doing. So we have access to really good data strategies that we're also looking at and to filling those program gaps.
So sitting to 2 people over from Karen is Larry Foster. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Larry, and then Larry can do a minute of welcome if he'd like. But one of the things that Joy worked on this past year was an ARC grant called Ready Grant to Grow Initiative. And what that grant was, it 300,000, Joy? It was 280,000. And so ARC was looking for folks in the region that had foundations that needed to get ready to grow. Now, years ago, the Higher Education Center created a foundation. And when I was vice president of VHCC, that's one of the areas that I helped administer. And so foundations were very, I have a lot of working knowledge of foundations. But when you became an agency head, I couldn't be an agency head and direct a foundation at the same time. And so we had to park that for a little bit. The foundation here has about $1 million in assets, and they own a building down at exit 7 behind the Mel Mushroom building that's valued at about maybe $4 million. We'll see. I think taxes at about $3.8 million. But that building belongs to the foundation. It's an asset. We currently rent that to Dr. James McGarrett. Yeah. And so the foundation has about $1 million, but the foundation needs to grow. And to do that, we needed to bring somebody on board. We needed a director of development. We needed somebody that could come in and do a lot of the governance issues, to work on policies and procedures, to get us a CRM, to work on scalable fundraising, work on some plant giving, to do a whole lot of things on the foundation so we could grow. And so Donna Stanley, who had a long career with the Virginia Community College System as a vice president and lots of work in foundations, helped serve on our search committee. And this winter, we selected Larry Foster, and we stole him from King University. And so, Larry, would you like to just say hello? Welcome. You want to give him 60 seconds?
60 seconds, get it right on the head. We're revitalizing the foundation. When it was first came about, it was a pass through the back of funds to help students out in the area do some great things here. That's all changed. That whole focus has changed. So it's now time to really move this foundation, put it into a position of where it can really raise some funds, do a lot of fundraising, different ways to cash gifts, legacy gifts, grants as well, and get all that lined up so we can really help the programs in hopefully very soon begin to offer our first scholarships to students that are either K through 12 or adults that either need emergency assistance, financial assistance, or tuition assistance in order to partake of all the great offerings that the center offers to our adults in the region. And that'll be scattered all over, whether they're doing online or they're driving here, or they're right here in our own backyard. So the ultimate goal of the foundation is to support what David's doing here, what the center's doing, to help our workforce development here in our own region.
Thank you, Larry. As Larry referenced, there's a big lift there. Over the last 2 years, between donations and grants passing through the foundation, it's been a little over probably $2.5 million. Now, 1.8 million of that had a lot to do with the simulation lab, but there's been other grants. In fact, Joy, off the top of my head, we may have broke 3 million in the last couple of years between some of the other grants that I've not referenced yet. But Larry mentioned scholarships. But, we have 10 college universities, and most of those college universities have scholarships for their students. One of the big areas that we need heavy lifting with is like when we built the simulation lab. Okay, there's only so much money coming from the General Assembly, and we have great representation with Senator Pillion and Senator Hackworth and Delegate Quinn and Delegate Moorfield, all those from our area. They do a wonderful job, but general funds only go so far, and so we have to have other funding, and that's where we hope our foundation can come in and help us do some additional projects. So we look forward to reporting more about how this Ready, Set, Grow initiative is working. Larry's been on the job 4 months, Larry?
2.5.
2.5. It seems like 4. Seems like it. Speaking of new programs, Jenny, would you like to stand up? Many of y'all know Miss Jenny Nichols. We stole her from Gold, Virginia. And Jenny is also a former chairman of the Washington County School Board and a current member of the Washington County School Board. And she is the chairman of the state school board. Is that right? President. All right. President Jenny, we have 2 apprenticeship programs here. One is administered by James. James, would you like to stand up? A couple of years ago, working with Senator Pillion and Senator Chafin and Delegate Kilgore, we wrote legislation to create a rural IT apprenticeship program. And that's what James administers. But Jenny's is a little new. Jenny, we got a $200,000-$300,000 grants. Help me out, Joy. What do we get? We got $300,000 from Wellspring and $300,000 from the Tobacco Commission.
Yeah.
But anyway, we put together about a $600,000 package. We were able to hire Jenny. And so she's just started working in January, basically, started this program, and she's already registered 23 apprentices. Well, 23 have been submitted to Virginia Works. That's what used to be Virginia Department of Labor. And so there's a process by which they have to funnel through before they can actually become a sponsored apprentice. And we have 9 that are actually working right now. And so I'm going to show you a quick video of some of these students. We have construction workers, we have factory workers, we have automobile workers. We ready? toward a nationally recognized workforce credential. The former apprentices recognized, featured in that video, came through James's program, and the current apprentices are in Jenny's program. And Jenny, would you like to take a second and tell them some highlights about what's going on in your world?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're continuing to meet with a bunch of different stakeholders, whether it be in community college. Tomorrow, I'm actually meeting with Dr. Hunt and her team with Virginia Highlands, because there's some students that are studying to be certified electricians that want to take advantage of the program. June 16th, I'm meeting with Dickinson County, Mountain Empire, and Southwest Community College, all in a group setting, just to talk about the benefits of the apprenticeship inspection program that we have here at the Higher Ed Center, and how, you know, we could potentially partner, and then also identifying key partnerships with employers, you know, just continuing with that work. And it's across all different sectors. You know, I know there is a handout in your board packets, but, you know, it's finance, hospitality, culinary arts, healthcare. I mean, it really isn't, even though it is heavy in the trades, and the trades leverage as a talent development strategy. There's over 1,800 occupations with Virginia Works that you can apprentice. So it's really been fulfilling work. And I mean, it's still, we're kind of building the plane while it's in the air, but it's really been an exciting 6 months. And I'm really excited to come back to you 6 months later so you can see even more progress that we make. So.
Thank you, Jenny. Jenny's done a wonderful job, and as she said, hopefully in 6 more months, you'll have more to learn about. She did include their information about the program in your packet. Before I go any further, though, I had failed to say anything about Megan Copenhagen. Megan, would you like to stand up? So all these videos, all this video production that you see, that's in-house with Megan. So Megan does a wonderful job. And yeah, well, except for one minor, when you did hire a consultant to help you with one of them, but Megan does a wonderful job, and we appreciate the hard work that she does. Joy was tasked a little over a year ago. I said, Joy, we need to do an economic impact study. Now, for every dollar that we get from the General Assembly, we're producing about $8 in activity generated. A ratio of 1 to 6 is considered really good. If you can generate $6 for every one, that's considered great. So we must be really great, because we're doing 8. Okay. Now, when we did this economic impact study, we did not include the impact from our students. We just let that out. That's have nothing. You start talking about the salaries of these doctors of nurse anesthesia, our doctors of family nurse practitioner, some of our other graduates coming through the program, then that number would go up. But we kept students out of this study. But that's some work that Joey worked on this spring, and we appreciate that. And some of that will be featured in our annual report. I want to talk about a couple upcoming projects. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to be with the governor. She was actually a half a mile from my house on Megan Copenhagen's farm. She visited the Copenhagen farm, and there was about 10 farmers there. And Dr. Keith Perigin was able to join us. We were the 2 educators that got to hang out with her. And she's real excited about our Virginia Tech agricultural program coming here. The Secretary of Agriculture was there, and the Secretary of Agriculture has been involved in the process all along the way. And so today is Thursday. On Tuesday, SACS approved, finally signed off on everything with the ag program. So Virginia Tech will be hiring a counselor / faculty member. Later, they'll be advertising at the end of the summer. Hopefully have somebody in place in the fall. We've already had a couple of town hall meetings with all of our FFA teachers, our K-12 suppliers, our farmers, our equipment salesmen, our poultry producers. We've had lots of meetings looking for lab space. And so they're all excited. We'll hopefully have our first time next year. We'll have accepted the first class. And so that's happening. That's exciting. We're building a new science lab. And I call it a science lab because it's a lab that can be used by the Appalachian College of Pharmacy. It can be used by the lab school. It can be used by the governor's school. It can be used by the Virginia Tech program. It'll support both chemistry, anatomy, geology, biology. We got a $300,000 grant. Again, work of Joy. And we got a $300,000 donation pledge, and that's going to match that. So it's about a $600,000 project. And we got the A&E estimate yesterday to start the architectural work. And so construction will start on that this fall, and that'll be able, our students will be able to use that in the spring. We also got awarded the opportunity to be a Department of Education, Region 7 anchor for their new STEM initiative. Now, I would like to be able to tell you I know an awful lot about that, but if where I'm at in life at 40,000 feet, that's about all I know. I can tell you that we will, Sonia's division, and Adam oversees that. We'll be working with all of our K-12 schools. As right now, we're working on it's a survey, correct, Adam? It's gone out to all the teachers and a lot of people in the area. The Department of Education is trying to identify where all our school systems are at when it comes to STEM education and what the gaps are. So we are going to be the anchor. We're responsible for Region 7. And so Dr. Perigin, I'll be leaning on you here on that one. Need some leadership. I'll just say with VCU, they're bringing their leadership team down in July, early August for some expansion work. Right now, we have the VCU doctoral program in nurse anesthesia. We have the VCU, the baccalaureate of science degree in clinical lab science, and there is growth coming with VCU. There you are. Okay. Yeah, some of your team's coming down.
We're all coming. They're excited.
Yeah. So we'll just keep it a secret right now. But this time next year, it'll be all the buzz. Okay. Thank you, Amy. The parking lot out there, that parking lot was built about 35, 40 years ago, maybe longer than that. When I started working at VCC, I got interviewed in 1990, actually parked on that parking lot and walked up those steps. But we're going to be repaving that parking lot, fixing the sidewalk. We're going to totally redo all the lighting out there. Altogether, it's going to be about a $650,000, $700,000 project. We're waiting on the engineering work now. I don't know how much we'll get started this fall, because asphalt plants close in early November. So it could be a spring project. We also have plans to have a bridge that'll go across the little ditch out there, so it'll lighten things up a little bit. And then there'll be other enhancements to the park lot. So those are some things happening. So I just want to say this one more time. And Kathy and Adam, y'all haven't had a chance to stand up yet, so stand up. So I want to thank Kathy and her team for everything that we do with the board report and all that. And I talk fast and I talk a lot, but Kathy keeps me straight. And then, of course, Adam is the senior director of administration. And so a lot of times I just get these ideas and I say, this is what I want to do. And I'll say, Adam, make it happen. Okay. And so I fly at 40,000 feet and Adam lives in the weeds. And so it's a great relationship with. So I appreciate Adam's going to talk to you in just a second. He's also over HR. So I just want to say this as I conclude my thoughts. I started by saying we're a great place doing great things because of great people. That's just highlights of a few things. There's a lot of things in your packet that your schools and institutions did here that I didn't talk about. There's probably just as much I didn't talk about as I talked about. So when I say we're a great place doing great things because of great people, that's just not David being a spokesperson for a state agency. That's me telling you that we have a group of people here that have devoted their lives to try to make a difference in the lives of the people of this region. And I would end my slide this way. We are a great place doing great things. But it's because of great people. I just get to be the person to get to stand up here and talk about it. Those are the people that make things happen around here. Okay. I'm just blessed to get to be the spokesperson. So I think that's it for that presentation, but there's two more things I have to cover before I shut up. Y'all have any questions for me about any of that before we talk about financing for just a second? In your packet, behind the blue tab, you're going to find the executive directors. You're going to find the budget. I hope you had a chance to look at that. We remain a very efficient and effective operation thanks to Alicia. Alicia knows where every penny's at, and she keeps a good track of it for me. But in your packet, this is a form that you get all the time. It's got the approved budget from last year, projected end of year, where we think we're going to end, as well as our proposed FY27. There's an action item with this, Mr. Chairman, at the very end. If there's no questions, we just need to approve this budget for next year. Everything fell right in line. Revenues were about what we projected. Expenses were about what we projected. The projected personnel expenses were a little higher, but we had some new hires come on board and they were covered by grants. And so there was really no surprises. We started the year with a reserve of about $2.2 million in reserve, and we're going to probably end just a little under 2.1 million. Now that means that we spent about 100,000 more than we had coming in we took that out of reserve, but some of that, we put money into the simulation lab ourselves. And we put some money into a few other projects. But we should end the year with a little over, right around $2.1 million in our reserve, which is very healthy for a state agency our size. We are very efficient, effective. If we look at the budget projected for next year, the only thing that if I was sitting in your shoes and I said, holy cow, David, what's going on there? If I looked at that budget, if you'll turn to the second page and look at proposed FY 27 under total personnel expenses, you're going to see it's going to jump to almost $3.6 million. Well, when Alicia and I sit down and we project everything, we project as if everybody, whether they're hourly, wage, whatever, everybody works everything they can work. So that's included. We went ahead and projected, even though we don't have a state budget, we projected for a 3% pay raise. We may not get that. We may get a 2% pay raise. We may not get a pay raise. But knowing the leadership from Senator Hackworth and Senator Pillion, there's going to be a raise. Let the record show there was no facial expression from Senator Pillion. Yeah. But the main driver of this increase is in the past, we contracted our security 2 positions. And so they used to be covered under the area that's called other than personnel at about $120,000 to $150,000 a year. But that's been, now they're center employees. So those salaries have been brought over to us. Larry and Jenny are on grant funding. So, but those show up there, but it produced additional revenue. So there's nothing alarming there. We're gonna have a good year this year. I see nothing for you to be concerned about. But I'd be happy to answer any questions. And if there are no questions, Mr. Chairman, we would need a motion to approve this budget for FY 27.
Do we have any questions about the budget? Do we have a motion to approve the budget?
Certainly, second.
I have a motion, a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries, budget is approved.
The final thing, Mr. Chairman, and then I'm done for today, is when you sit down on top of your packet was a deficit provision acknowledgement form. I'm required by law on 4-3-01 of the Appropriation Act to sign this form that basically says that I'm going to go to jail if I spend more money than I got, or if I put the state in harm. You're very familiar with that form. But I want to let you know that that's been signed, and Alicia, everything's been turned in, and we're ready for another year. So I think somewhere along the line I'm supposed to tell you that. So you've been informed. Any questions for me? And hearing none, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you. I believe Adam Talbert's next on the agenda.
Yes, we move to HR Administration Report, and I've got it Talbert.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, members of the board. I've got 3 items to talk with you about. One was late added, I'll get to here in a moment. But the first thing we'll cover is our annual service recognition. We customarily do it our June meeting to recognize the great people who've experienced milestones in state service during the last year. On your list there, you have those, and I'd like to have, of course, David to help with that. You'll get the plaques here, and our first person in a number of these cases, these folks started out part-time and wage before they became full-time. So they probably actually have more total service you see on your paper track. But for state service, we track just salary certainly. So Austin Dirks, he's going to be with us today here, but he's in our IT department. We'll make sure we're tenured in the service he gets his award. Next, of course, we have Hannah Heitland with us. We have 10 years. Stole her from UVA was, of course, she came to the center. So congratulations, Hannah.
Hard 10 years, right, Hannah?
Nicholas Osborne in our maintenance department, lead maintenance technician, 5 years. He couldn't be with us this afternoon. James Levens in our fiscal department, program administrator, fiscal specialist, 3 years. He was a wage employee before he became full-time, so it's more than that. Congratulations to you, James.
And for those of you who may not know James Blevins, this is Colonel James Blevins, 2 tours in Iraq. He served our country proudly. So James, when James retired from the military, he came to work at a great place. So he left the Army and came here. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
And finally, I don't think she's with us this afternoon, Michelle Galot, who's been with us for a year as a custodian in our great housekeeping department. She's looking spectacular. Everybody thinks it's a brand new building when they comment about what they see. So congratulations to those folks. Moving on, Mr. Chairman, to item 2. It's just a listing I customarily provide our new hires and any departures and changes since the last meeting. I want to highlight a couple of things in the new hire section. We've had a new hire in maintenance. We also have hired someone to focus on a lot of information security issues, which is very important. Aaron Norris, who comes with us with 20 years of experience in U.S. Navy and submarines doing information security related things. He'll be handling that for us. Of course, you heard about our foundation development director, Larry Foster. I do want to highlight that just entered the room our two campus security officers who have we've completed a 3-year process to bring them on as center employees. They did previously work for a contractor. And thanks to some special legislation passed by the General Assembly and then this board passing resolutions at the last 2 June meetings, we were able to transition them in-house as state employees of the center in February, and then they became full-time employees in May. So Michael and Randy, if you all will stand up and be recognized, they're a full-time employee. Management area here in the center, overseeing campus security, and of course, security is a paramount concern in today's world. So we're glad that we have an in-house security force, and as time goes on, I'm sure we'll be growing as well to maybe even more personnel and equipment. So that's an area we want to focus heavily on. Make sure that the area is safe and secure for all the things that we do at the center. And moving on to the third thing, it's not on the printed agenda. This morning, Jane Schulper and I talked. Jane is our Assistant Attorney General representative, the Office of the Attorney General. She's on Zoom. And she reminded me that the board annually needs to re-adopt its virtual meeting policy, which was adopted the last time in December of 2024. So in your packet there are printed copies that we split in your packet. On the online copies, the electronic board should have the electronic meeting policy. So there's been no changes. The board just needs to re-adopt this policy to say, hey, we reaffirm this policy as the electronic meeting policy going forward. And Jenny, I do want to give her a shout out. She helps with all kinds of things related to center's daily business and the legal side of things. So Jenny is available for any questions you might have on that. So we would need a motion to re-adopt the center's electronic meeting policy as an action item.
And Adam, this policy is under the first green tab under HR administration. It's the last thing under that tab.
Any questions about the HR virtual policy? All right, we have a motion.
So moved.
All right, we have a second. We have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That completes all of the items I had to speak about today, unless there were any questions or concerns about the mayor today.
Any other questions for Dr. Cobb? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Item number 7, at the December 2025 meeting, Senator Payton acting on my behalf appointed Bear Lloyd, Delegate Jason Ballard, and Chancellor Donna Henry as members of an officer nominating committee in anticipation of electing board officers at today's meeting. So I will now call upon Bear Lloyd for the nominating committee's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The nominating committee respectfully submits the following nominees for board officers. For chairman, Senator Todd Billion. For vice chairman, Senator Travis Hackworth. For secretary, Olivia Balin. Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of this report.
All right, you heard the report of the nominating committee. Are there any further nominations, or is there a motion to elect the slate of officers as presented by the nominating committee to the positions report from the nominating committee? Give a motion.
Motion.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So I would just like to take this time to thank the board for this arduous job of having David call me at all times and hours. No, he really is great to work with. And I will turn this over to the new chair, Senator Todd Billion.
I'll take this. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, Senator Hackworth, and thank you for your service, not only to this board, but also to the Commonwealth. At this time, I am charged to make appointments to the executive committee.
That's your note, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. So the executive committee has elected already, myself as chair, Senator Hackworth as vice chair, Olivia Bailey as secretary, Donna Henry, as the education member, and Barry Lloyd as the citizen member. Do we need a motion on that? Or is that?
I think you just asked chairman, I
I think
believe
that's it.
you appoint him, sir.
Okay, great. Next on the agenda, opening for public comments. Adam, do we have anybody that had signed up for public comments?
Alex says we don't.
Sure, that's disappointing to you. So we have no one signed up for public comment, and they tried to notify Kathy about 5 p.m. on Monday anyway, and no public comments were received. Any other business that anyone wants to, from this committee, that anyone wants to bring before the body? All right, hearing none. I'd like to announce that the executive committee will be meeting today, immediately following this meeting, for a 5-minute meeting, hopefully no longer than that, in the president's conference room. There is a reception taking place on the second floor as always. It's a great reception and time of fellowship, and we would invite everyone to attend that. Please hold the next date, Thursday, December 10th. And I would probably be moving the time back to the time that I like, not to backward.
So I'll drive over to Richland.
Okay, anyway, so we'll be moving the meeting time to a different time, but it'll be on Thursday, proposed to be meeting on Thursday, December 10th. Hopefully by then we will have a state budget. And with that, I will gladly accept a motion to adjourn. Oh, we have a motion, we have a second. All right.
Particular reception, we've got lots of really good food. Up on the second floor landing deck above the information desk.